Okay. Hello, students. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to everyone?
Good afternoon,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Good
Yes,
afternoon,
sir.
sir.
Okay, fine. So, listen, everyone, that today, from tomorrow, we will. I would like to take your lab in LMS platform. Okay. So, I hope that all of you know how to use the LMS platform. Everyone, please enter into the LMS platform. Okay, with your username and password, and then, from my course, choose the particular course name, subject name, that programming for problem solving, and after choosing that subject name, you will find that I have already created a link there. You will have to just enter into just click on the enter the classroom. Okay. When you will enter the classroom, you automatically enter into our Google Meet. Okay. Google Meet classroom that is actually going to be run through the LMS platform. Okay. So tomorrow we will have a three consecutive period for lab. That's why I have chosen tomorrow date for your LMS starting of LMS platform. Okay. So if you feel any sort of problem, that we can handle tomorrow, right? Okay.
Yes, sir. But I have a question, sir, regarding this.
Yes. Any question?
Hello.
Bolo bolo.
So why we should use LMS platform, sir? Why we will use that? Because you can easily give us a link in WhatsApp. So why
No.
we
The
will use that
question.
LMS platform?
I know that, but
We want to
that I
check.
don't have any answer of that question. Okay. I don't have any answer of that question. The LMS platform has been instructed from the department, from the university management, that we have to use LMS platform, and we will use LMS platform because all the things are actually we can do with the LMS platform together. We don't need to use different things. As for example, like I am using a Google Classroom to communicate with you, to provide some assignments, some notes with you, and as well as I will use Zoom platform to take your online classes. So LMS platform will give the facility of both the platform, Classroom as well as Zoom, into a single platform like LMS. Okay, that I know. I am not very much habituated to use of the LMS platform. I am not explored the LMS platform fully. I'm also learning the LMS platform or doing the LMS platform. So in future, I think the everything will be shifted to the LMS platform. For this semester, we are just tested that how the LMS platform is working. If you feel any sort of problem, any kind of error, any kind of technical issues regarding LMS platform, I suggest you to take the picture or take the snapshot of your problem and just mail to the HOD, okay, or inform the HOD, and HOD will inform the LMS, the person who is actually handling the LMS. Okay, so your problem will be try to solve. Okay, but the thing is that I think you should, all of you must learn how to use LMS, because from the next semester onward, I think that everything will be shifted to LMS. We cannot use Zoom or any other individual platform to teach, right? So this semester will be the best time for your practice, or for you are going to habituate with this platform. Okay. Okay. I think the screen is visible to you, right? Okay. Is this screen visible to you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Visible.
Okay. So let's just make me a revise that in the last class we have just started a discussion of C looping, C repetition logic, where we have learned about the three kinds of looping structure: while looping structure, for looping structure, and do while looping structure. I also discussed about the difference between do while and while looping structure. I discussed about the use of logical operators along with the looping structures, and then I discussed about the various forms of for loops. Okay, and I have shown one or two basic programs of looping structure. Today I would like to discuss with more important programs of this C looping structure, and those programs are very important, very frequent programs of frequent questions are coming in technical interview, in your campus interview, as well as for your semester exam. These programs are very important. Okay, so so before start with the looping structure, the various programs of the looping structure, I would just like to discuss one small thing which I have forget to discuss with you during that keyword section. That type def is one of the very interesting and useful keyword which is used in C programming. Okay, what is the job or what is the task of type def? Okay, as the name it suggests, type definition. Okay, so def represents type definition. So this type def is keyword among those 32, is one of the keyword among those 32 keywords in C. And this type def keyword is mainly used to define a special kind of type to a particular variable. As for example, suppose suppose I suppose we generally use the um, the value of a money. Okay, the money is a variable. Suppose we'll consider the money is our variable, and we generally prefer to store money in the form of float. Okay, we prefer to store money in the form of float. So that means we can store in such a way 170.85. Okay, so 170.85. So we generally prefer to store our money in terms of float data type, right? So now if I want to store this money variable instead of float, I want that throughout the program I am not using float. I am, instead of float, I am using rupees. I would like to using rupees, this term. That means I would like to use this rupees in front of money instead of float. Okay, throughout the program. How can I do that? That is my question. How can I do that? That means the float data type will be now replaced by a new data type, that is rupees. But we all of we know that in primitive data types in C there is no concept of rupees name data type. So rupees is such kind of name that we have given from our choice, right? So rupees name is invalid for the from the list of the C primitive data types, where float is a valid data type. So there must be some mapping or some conversion or some sort of technique is required which will convert this float data type into a rupees data type. Okay, or which will map the float data type into rupees data type, that we can use the rupees data type in future throughout this program to represent the variable money. And that conversion or that mapping can be done with the help of type def operation, right? So what is the general form of type def operations? First we have to write the keyword type def, followed by the data type which you want to change. That means the old data type. Give a space again, then followed by a new data type. That means to which you want to change. So float is from which you want to change, and rupees data type such a data type to which you want to change. Understood? So this is the way of how we can define a type def. So right now, after type defing this statement in such a way, now from the next statement, you are fully free to use this rupees keyword instead of float keyword. Instead of float, so you don't need to require to use float keyword throughout your program. Okay, after the state, after your type def definition throughout the program, you don't require to use float data type. You may use, you may not use, but after doing this type definition, you are free to use this rupees keyword instead of float keyword throughout this program. Okay, so in the next line, you are able to define or declare the money, okay, with the help of rupees keyword. If you define the rupees keyword in such a way, if you type the rupees keyword in such a way. Understood? বুঝতে পারছো? Do you understand what is the use of type
Yes.
def?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
If,
yes.
Yes,
if anyone has any confusion, please ask me. Okay, so this is the one program I have written for you to represent the understanding of the type def. That type def is a keyword, and we actually convert this integer is a primitive data type, as all of we know that, and it will be type defing or type mapping into a new keyword, that is rectangle. That means after this statement, this rectangle can be used fully. After this statement, this rectangle can be used fully. Okay, one question has been given, that why we should require to convert the primitive data type into something other form of data type. Actually, the thing is that in this is actually choice of the user, the preference of the user. I prefer to use in front of money, I prefer to use rupees instead of float, because দেখো money কিন্তু অনেক ভাবে হতে পারে. Money can be represented in the form of dollars, money can be represented in the form of pounds, money can be represented in the form of rupees, and so on. So here from float money, are you able to represent which kind of money you are going to use? No, it may be a dollar, it may be a float, it may be a pound. So So that's why to make it more specific, I am just converting this float data type into a more specific or understandable data type, that is rupees. But obviously this data type does not support of the primitive data type list. That's why we have to use a type def, a special type of keyword facility, by the help of which we are able to convert this float data type into its corresponding, renaming the float data type into corresponding new data type. Okay, understandable data type. So look, in this program, I have converted the int data type, primitive data type, into its corresponding rectangle data type. So from the next line, look, here I am just calculating the area of a rectangle. So how we can calculate the area of a rectangle? Very simple, length into breadth. That is the two parameters that we are required to calculate the area of a rectangle. So length, breadth, and area. This should be the three variables that I am using here, and all are integer type. So here, instead of integer type, I would like to use a rectangle type as a primitive data type, as a primitive data type of this program. So that's why I did a mapping with the help of type def keyword. I have already done a mapping from integer data type to a rectangle naming data type, right? So I actually creating a new data type which is named rectangle using type def from integer. So from the next line, I am freely use the rectangle data type along with the other variable names, and the rest of the things are easy to understand. I think all of you are easy, but in case of access specifier, all of you must use the %d, because at the back end of the rectangle data type, the integer is actually working. So you have to understood that thing. At the back end of the rectangle data type, integer is actually working. Okay, the compiler, C compiler does not understand rectangle. It understands only the integer data type. But due to this type def definition, you actually make a renaming of the primitive data type integer into its corresponding rectangle type for this program only. Okay, for this program only. For which program you actually use type def, for that program, that new type you can use. But for the other program, you are never ever able to use the type def. Not for program, not even for other functions. Okay, if you are declare multiple function into this program, for in which function you have used the type def, okay, you can use the new name of that variable within that functions only. Okay, the rest of the function does not support that new name. Okay, you have to redeclare into the rest of the function. Okay, so we will run this code. So enter the length of the rectangle 5, the breadth of the rectangle 9. So the area of the rectangle is 45. 5 into 9, 45. Okay. Understood, everyone? Anyone has any doubt, any question?
হ্যালো স্যার,
বলো।
বলছি স্যার টাইপ ডেভের বেসিক্যালি ইউজটা কি? সেই তো আমি যদি ফ্লোটে কোনো কিছু আমি ডিক্লেয়ার করি, তো ফ্লোটটা তো লিখতেই হচ্ছে, আবার টাইপ ডেভের সময় যদি আমি ওর জায়গায়
এই যে
রেক্ট্যাঙ্গেল করে দিই, তো রেক্ট্যাঙ্গেলও তো লিখতেই হচ্ছে।
এই যে এক্ষুনি বললাম তোমাকে যে এটা নেমিং কনভেনশনের সুবিধার জন্য, তুমি ইউজ করতেও পারো, নাও করতে পারো, ইটস অপশনাল, ইটস নট ম্যান্ডেটরি, বাট ইউ হ্যাভ টু নো হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইউজ অফ টাইপ
আচ্ছা
ফর দ্য নেমিং কনভেনশন। ঠিক আছে,
আচ্ছা
আমার
আচ্ছা
ইচ্ছা
আচ্ছা
আমি ইন্টিজার, ফ্লোট, এই নামগুলো তো অ্যাকচুয়ালি প্রোগ্রামিং নেম, আমি সেটা না করে আইটু মোর ফ্রেন্ডলি নেম ইউজ করতে চাইছি, দেন উই উইল ইউজ টাইপ ডিফ। ওকে, anyone else, any other question? Please read this. Okay, it's very important. One more thing that I would like to tell you, that please read the difference between constant and volatile keyword. Please read the difference between them, constant and volatile keyword. That is your home task. Okay, constant I have already discussed, constant keyword. Okay, the use of constant I have already shown in terms of programming, but volatile I didn't show. What is the difference between them? Please read it out. Okay, it's your home task, remember it. Okay. Okay, now let's come back into the concept of looping. While loop, for loop, and do while loop. Obviously, I already told that we are not preferred to use do while loop. We are more preferable to use while loop or for loop. Okay. So right now today, just I'm going to discuss. I'm not going to discuss with any new theory. I'm just going to discuss some of the important programs. Okay, and the rest of the programs I am going to give you in our upcoming labs. Okay. So the first program that I want to discuss in front of you try to first understand the objective of the program clearly. Okay, the objective of the program is say that print the digits of a given number. That is a very simple objective of the program. Write a program to print the digits of a given number. What do you mean by that? What do I mean by that? Write a program to print the digits of a given number. So suppose
Yes, sir.
I have,
If we print 1 to 1, so we have the print, the output will be 1, 2, 1.
yes.
If we
So
enter or give
suppose
the value
our
100 to 1.
yes. So suppose our input number that we have given in runtime or in compile time 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Your program will show you or divide this number into its individual digits. So what are the individual digits of this number? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now it has a huge application. This is a very, very important program, and you can say this is a very basic program. Okay, এই প্রোগ্রামটা কখনোই পরীক্ষা আসে না, but the thing is that this program, this logic can be used to implement several other programs that we will see. But this is a very basic logic that you have to understood and you have to know. Okay, that is very, very important one. That convert a number into its corresponding digits or print the individual digits of a corresponding input number. That means your input number should be like this 1, 2, 3, 4, and your output should be 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 4 digits in 4 different lines. Okay, or separated by a space or separated by some other identifier, right? How we can do that? That is the question. So from this 1, 2, 3, 4, mathematically you bolte parbe from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. How can I find the first digit 4? Any one of you?
Sir, percentage 10.
মডিউলাস 10 করলে
10.
Okay.
মডিউলাস 10 করলে
Okay, very good.
If we divide 10.
Let's do it. If I will do this operation 1, 2, 3, 4 modulus 10. Mod প্রত্যেকেই জানো what is the use of modulus operator? I have already discussed in more details that modulus operator will always return the remainder, okay, of this division.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we divide 1, 2, 3, 4
Yes,
with the help of 10, that is a modular division, it will always return a remainder 4. So
yes, 4.
So we have already achieved the first individual digits after dividing this number by 10, right? Now we will further divide this number by /10. What do you mean by that? So after dividing this
It will
number by
give
/10,
123.
yes,
Yes.
it will
It's
return
123.
only the divisor part. Sorry, that output part it will return only. So it will return 123 because these are normal division. It's not a modular division, it's a normal division. A normal division always return the dividend part. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, the output part, and this is the remainder division, it will return the remainder part, right? So this is the first iteration. So this is the first iteration. What do you mean by iteration? Iteration means প্রথমবার যে লুপটা ঘুরবে, this is called iteration. First time the loop is running, that is called first iteration. Now we will go for the second iteration. Second iteration means when the loop will rerun again or when the loop will run for the second time, then it is called second iteration. So in the second iteration we will do the same job on the output that we have received from the previous iteration, right? So 123 is again modulo divided by 10. So can anyone tell me the output of 123 mod divided by 10? 3. Okay, and
3
again we will divide the
Yes.
number with
So it will give
/10.
12.
So it should be
12.
12, right?
12.
So second iteration complete. Now go for the third iteration. Try to understand what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just telling you the logic, then I'm going to implement the same logic in terms of programming. Now third iteration tells that we will apply the same concept, similar concept on the output of the previous iteration, that is second iteration output is 12. So 12 mod 10, so the output will be 2, remainder will be 2. And if we do 12/10, then it will be 1. Agree with me?
Yes.
Everyone agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
so we will uh, if we will do the fourth iteration. So have we got the three numbers? So we have already received number 4, number 3, and number 2. These three numbers we have already received. So the output of the remainder will always return the digits. Okay, the output of the remainder of this operation will always return the digits. So how many digits we have received yet from the first three iteration? Digit number 4, digit number 3, and digit number 2. Okay, only 3 digits. Till digit number 1 is not receiving. Okay, because আমরা সেই digit গুলোকে as a output হিসেবে নেব যেটা তোমার রিমাইন্ডারটা রিটার্ন করছে. We cannot take these digits as output. Okay, so someone can think, sir, we have already received 1, so this will be our output. No, we cannot take it. Okay, because we are going to take only those numbers which are output from the modulus operations, right? Now in the fourth iteration we'll have to iterate our loop once more. Okay, and that will be our last iteration, right? So if we do this operation 1 mod 10, now tell me what will be the remainder of 1 mod 10?
0, it will be 0.
No,
0.
no, remainder of 1 mod 10 is
So
always
1
1.
mod 10 1 হবে তো
Always
1
1.
হবে
One my husband.
Please remember it. Any number which is less than that particular number, as a remainder, it will always return that number. Okay, 2 mod 10 2, 3 mod 10 3, 4 mod 10 4, 5 mod 10 5, 6 mod 10 6, 7 mod 10 7, 8 mod 10 8, 9 mod 10 9, 10 mod 10 it will return 0. Okay, agree with me everyone? And when we divide 1 mod 10, then it will give which value?
Floating
Zero.
numbers.
0. Okay, 0. So here, so our loop will stop while we will get 0. So that will be our termination conditions. So can we write the terminating condition in this way? While the iteration variable n, suppose we will consider n as the
And not
iteration
equal to
variable,
0.
not equals to 0, can we write this thing? Because our loop will
Yes, sir.
stop while we receive the value 0. So this is our termination condition. Very good. I think it is understood by everyone. প্রত্যেকে এটা বুঝেছে লজিকটা? Has everyone understood this thing? Anyone has any doubt regarding this logic? Now I am going to implement this entire thing in terms of C programming. So our first job is to take the input number. That is 1 2 3 4, that input number I've taken, and that I want to take in the form of n, an integer variable. So here we will write printf, enter your number. Okay, scanf %d comma ampersand n, right? So n should be such a number which will be the input of that program, which will be divided into individual digits, right? That is the objective. Now, as per the while loop, we will write these things. While the loop will repeat it until n not equals to 0, that I already discussed with you. In that condition, the loop will repeat it until you will get the output n equal to 0. Okay, the number is becoming n not equals to 0. Now we will do these operations to you. So these operations will be applied on which one? Which variable? N variable, because n is your input number, right? 1 2 3 4 is your input number. So we can we write in such a way that int remainder is equal to n modulus 10, right? So remainder will be such variable that will actually print our digits, right? So each and every case the remainder will print our digits, right? So remainder will be such variable that is actually printing our digits, right? So we will print our digits, print our remainder here, printf %d comma rem. Okay, give a new line, and new line করে print করবে, right? Right? And the next operation that we will divide that n will be n/10. This thing. Why n should be n/10? Because after division, whatever value will be generated, that will be our new n for the next iteration. Understood? So this should be our old n, right? That we are inserting with. This should be our old n that we are inserting with the program, right? Now this n will be divided by 10, and whatever output will be generated as the output of this division, that will be our new n. These are old n, these are new n, and that new n will be the input for the next iteration. So that's why n equal to n by 10. That means the old n will be divided by 10, and that will be assigned into a new n. Understood? বুঝতে পারছো? Anyone has any objection, any doubt? Understood, everyone? বলো, anyone has any doubt, any objections?
স্যার হ্যালো
বলো
হ্যালো স্যার
বলো বলো বলো
বলছি স্যার আমরা যদি এরকম করি যে ওখানে এনটা সংখ্যা আছে তা
হুম।
আমরা n-1 অবধি ইটারেশন করলাম, তারপর লাস্টের ডিজিটটা অটোমেটিকলি প্রিন্ট হয়ে গেল।
করতে পারো, দেখো অনেক ভাবেই আছে। there are several ways you can do the program. Okay, there are several ways we can do the program, right? So this is one of the way. Okay, one person has asked me one question. They said this code will print the digits in reverse order. Yes, the code will print the digit in reverse order. I didn't mention in the program that we have to print the digits in an ascending order or descending order. Have I mentioned in the program? No, I want only a digits. I want only a digits of a number, right? So if we run this code, so after executing it, it demands a number, input number. I have given the number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it will give you the digits 4, 3, 2, 1. Understood? Everyone understood? প্রত্যেকে বুঝতে পারছো?
Yes sir.
So there may be multiple logic to do one program. You can use any one of your logic. I have nothing to say. Just try to understand that your logic should not make your program more complex or increase the number of lines of the coding of your program. It should be easier, it should be much understandable. Okay, so if you create any program less than my code, you can follow that program. I have nothing to say, and obviously your program should give a correct output. Okay, so this is the general one. Now I am going to give you next program. Print the sum of the digits of a given number. That is the only change. Write a program to print the sum of the digits of a given number. Means very simple. Follow. What do you understand by that? Print the sum of the digits of a given number. What do you understand by that?
It will be plus of every digit. It will be plus of summation of every digit.
So the digits, you have to first find out the digits and then make a summation among them. Very simple. So the output of this program will be 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 1, 10.
10 it will be.
Okay, so that thing we'll have to do. So to implement that thing, we'll have to first take a sum variable which will be initialized as 0. Why it is initialized as 0? Because always when you are taking some variable, you have to initialize with 0, because if you are not going to initialize a 0, some variable initially will take a garbage value. In C, there is a very popular concept of garbage value. Garbage value is something which will be arbitrarily assigned by the C compiler to a particular variable, any arbitrary value like this. Okay, so we should not, obviously we should not accept the garbage value, and sum will be something where you are going to store your summation results. So that's why we will have to initialize the value variable of the sum variable, or the sum value will be 0. Okay, initialized by 0. Now sum of the digits means what? Very simple. So these are actually remainders, and they actually make sum of each other. Ek operation summing koche remainder ta. So here, after printing the remainder, you can perform the sum. Sum equal to sum plus rem. Rem means remainder. So in the first case, the remainder will execute 4. So sum, what is the previous value of sum? That is 0. So 0 plus 4, 4. So that's why I have given 0 here. we cannot give, you cannot left it blank, because if you left it blank, if you are not initialize the value, variable value of sum is 0, then it will take a garbage value. So that 4 will be added with that garbage value and it will give you the entire wrong result. Okay. So that's why 0 plus 4 is a 4. So what is the new value of sum? That is 4. Again, the loop will repeat. The next remainder will be 3. So what was the old value of sum? 4. And 4 will be added with the next new remainder, that is 3. The 4 plus 3, 7. The loop will again repeat. For the next remainder is 2. So what was the previous value of sum? 7. 7 plus new remainder is 2. 7 plus 2, 9. The loop will repeat again and then it will give 7 plus 2 plus 9. 9 plus 1,